Hello, welcome to the 30k channel. I'm your host David.
And I'm Boris.
And today we have Firefight episode 12. Now, instead of me prattling on, I've got Boris to kind of temper my boringness.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Maybe offset it with some other boringness, we'll see.
We'll see what we can do. So we haven't done Firefight for a little while. This was a series I developed during the Corona Chronicles when that first came out, but we are still in lockdown essentially, and we tried to get as much content in before second lockdown happened. So both of us are really pushed for time today, so we thought we'll do a nice little...
Yeah, give you guys some multiple scenarios so we can just sort of showcase some different things you might happen in a game.
Amen. And in this episode, we are going to focus on a word bearer's mortificator, said it right the first time, and 3 of his contemptor friends versus some tailored list building Mechanicum units.
They're pretty scary, I must admit, but
likewise.
Yeah, it's going to be much like our last game, pretty deadly.
Yeah,
but it's not quite, if anyone's watched the Firefight games, it's not a whole end-to-end game. It's just sort of multiple scenarios showing you what can happen with list building and just pure luck and how much it can vary based on a couple of dice rolls. Yeah,
so this is exactly as Boris said. It's a snapshot of what could happen when. I appreciate it's all subjective because of dice rolls, but what I've done is I've got 705 points, 2 units of Thalax, one with 6, one with 7 Thalax. They've both got 2 melters. Everyone's got a melter bomb, and they have the Destructor special, which is Tank Hunters. That's some good tailoring right there.
That is some very good tailoring against the opponent. The Mortificator, the word bearers have a single unit, a Mortificator, and 3 Contemptors, not Quarters or Mortars, just plain Contemptors. The Mortificator has his Corpent Stave, Servo Arm, and is upgraded with a Plasma Pistol.
Amen.
And then we have 2 Contemptors, both with Dreadnought Close Combat Weapons and Heavy Flamers in the fists, and then 1 which has double autocannon and a Havoc Launcher. So sort of 2 melee and 1 shooty. For anyone who's not quite sure on the Mortificator rules, we'll go into them later as they come up, but generally you can't target the Mortificator even if he's up front, so it's sort of you can throw him up front and you start to shoot the Dreadnoughts. Not that that'll be really an issue for you, kind of primed to kill the Dreadnoughts. And he effectively gives the Dreadnoughts Feel No Pain. So on a 5-up, they can ignore a glance or a pen.
Yeah.
So that might be what keeps the word bearers in the game.
Yeah. And you might think this might be a little bit of an unfair fight, but you've got 705 points of Thalax and 710 points of 1 unit in that Mortificator unit. We don't see them that often. They're Book 8 unit that came out. But they are super cool, and there's some really great people doing some really lovely conversions and a Mortificator unit with accompanying Contemptors, which look fantastic. The one that springs to mind is Jack, Anvils of Conor. He's done some fantastic kit bashing and some custom builds for that, so please check him out if you haven't seen that. Going back to my original point, is it an unfair fight? Maybe, but this happens on the battlefield.
Absolutely. You have sort of your custom-made tailored Death Star, but of which the Mortificator definitely is. I would definitely classify as a Death Star unit. And if you come up against exactly the wrong thing at the wrong time in the wrong turn initiative, it can just be wiped out with doing almost no damage in return. So as we'll find out, it's basically we're going to run it sort of different ways, with one side having the first turn and then the other side having the first turn, and see how much of an impact that has.
Yeah, so we've set it up in such a way that either the mechanical word bearers will get their turn, and they will get a turn of movement, shooting, and charges. The charges will automatically happen. We're not going to roll dice rolls because we just want to make it happen. We don't want to have a failed charge, go through a shooting phase, then back to another charge. So we're going to get to we've made it so the charges will happen, and we'll go for a word bearer's turn of their move through, charge, and assault, and then the same with the Mechanicum. We'll re-rack and we'll do the Mechanicum just to see what would happen. The Mechanicum have got the tools to do the job, but again, it's all down to dice rolls.
It is, and normally they'd probably be. I wouldn't bet on the word bearers, but it is dependent on those 5-up feel no pains, as it were. So we'll see what happens.
It will be exciting. So we're going to show you a couple of photos now of the battlefield. You can see that we're inside the ruin building from the last game that Boris and I played together, the word bearers and Iron Hands. And the 3 units there are all racked up, ready to go. So, Boris, we should have a roll off to see who goes first. We've got some dice. Well, you've been a bit more organised than I have. I haven't. Let's see who goes first.
Okay.
Got a 6. We need those for our Feel No Pain. Mechanicum will take their first turn. Here we go, Mechanicum, turn 1. We've got the cameras a little bit different here. We've got a dice tray set up, so hopefully you'll like this new kind of style of format. It may or may not see the light of day ever again, but we'll find out. So we'll start with the Mechanicum. They've had their first turn, and they will advance slowly towards the word bearers. The Thalax have advanced, and now they will unleash their weaponry into the front line of those word bearers. We're going to start off with the lightning guns. There's 2, 4, 5 of those. So let's have a look. 5 shots, strength 7, shred and rending with Tank Hunter, 3s to hit. Dropped 1 there, so that's fine. We need 6s to glance. None, but we have got Tank Hunter thanks to Destructor. Oh no, not a sausage from there. So now we've got to rely on our multi-melters, and we require 3s to hit. Oh, that is a double fail. We had every opportunity. Not good. Next, we'll move on to the second unit, and there is only 4 lightning guns in that unit. 3s to hit, a little bit better. 6s to glance. Oh, we get 1. Tank Hunter, 2. Boris, you're up.
Okay, so we have our 5-up Atomantic Shielding, nothing. And then the Ancient Devotion rule kicks in from the Mortificator, allowing these to be discarded on a 5-up. So we need 5s again. That is 1, so it negates 1 penetrating hit. That's
pretty good. Let's find out the results. Oh, that's fine. So it's a hull point and a shaken result. Next to fire, the 2 multi-melters from the squad, 3s to hit. Oh my word, that is appalling. All right, we are now going to have to charge the Wall of Contemptors, but they will get to Overwatch.
Before the charge, we have some Overwatch. We're going to see if we can do some damage to these Thalax. Starting with the autocannons from the Contemptor on the right. No hits, however, it is twin-linked. That is 1 hit. Wounding on 2s. Classic 1.
Whoa.
Nothing. We then have D3 from each Heavy Flamer. So we have 4 from the 2 fists in each Contemptor. That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 wounds inflicted.
9 hits.
9 hits, sorry, yes.
Yeah. 4s to wound, strength 5.
Strength 5 AP4, so 4s to wound. That's not great.
Oh.
That is only 3 wounds from 9 hits.
Does cut through the armor, so we go straight onto Feel No Pain. 6 ups, we get 1. That does keep a Thalax alive.
Last to fire, hoping we can bring down a Thalax, is the Mortificator's lone plasma pistol. 6 up, no, not hit. However, we avoid the overheat.
All right, let's have a charge from those Thalax. They make it comfortably in with an 8.
Starting the melee at initiative 4, the Contemptors get a chance to try and keep themselves alive and strike first. We'll start with the range Contemptor. He gets to strike twice with his sort of kicks, as it were. Hitting on 3s, that's only 1 hit. Winning on 2s, however, with strength 7, toughness 5, that is a wound. You get your full armor save against it, however.
4 up, pass, thankfully.
Okie doke. We'll go on to the Centurion next. Mortificator. He has a Corpusant Stave, only 2 attacks because there's no charging, and it's a 2-handed weapon. However, hitting on 3s, both hit. Wounding on 4s, 1 wound, and it is AP4.
6 up, fail. 1 Thalax takes a wound.
And is concussed. Last to attack, we're hoping this can save the squad. We have both melee Contemptors, 4 attacks each, even when not charged. Weapon skill 5, so we are hitting on 3s. That is amazing.
Oh, that's not good.
That is 7 hits. That might be enough to wipe the squad. We are now killing on 2s, and the Keeper of the Dead rule from the Mortificator means these wounds are shredding due to the unit attacking the same target. So 2s with shred. 1, and a reroll. Still a 1. So that is 6 dead Thalax, leaving 1 alive to strike back at initiative 1.
Wow, what a devastating round. Those melters not hitting in the shooting phase really hampered the efforts of the Mechanicum, but we're at initiative 1 with a melter bomb. We need a 4 to hit the close combat armed dreadnought. Oh no, and that is a 1, not good.
Last to strike at initiative 1 is the Mortificator's servo arm, single attack, hitting on 3s, no hits, so that is the end of the combat.
All right, now to give the Mechanicum some reprieve, we need to pass the leadership test, and that will then give the Mechanicum an opportunity for the second unit to fire in the next phase. So 8 or less. Oh, look at that. That is a 7. That is a thing of beauty.
Word Bearers turn 1. We are still locked in combat, which is not ideal. It would have been great to wipe the squad and be able to shoot and charge the enemy Thalax in this turn. However, we're stuck facing off against a lone Thalax. Units have piled in. There is no shooting, no movement. We'll straight into combat and we'll swing with the melee armed Contemptors. First one is 4 hit strikes, hitting on 3s. 2 miss, it's not great. However, 2s to kill, we're shred. Yeah, that is 1 dead Thalax. The unit then consolidates 1 inch. That's unfortunate.
Mechanicum turn 2, and unbelievably, thanks to that lone surviving Thalax that braved the combat, has put the Mechanicum in a reasonable position. We are going to try and go in for the kill. I know it seems a bit foolhardy, but if we can take out one of those Contemptors, we might stand a chance. The Thalax have moved down from their building and they are priming their lightning guns. So we'll start off with those. We've got 4 shots into the front of that nasty unit, requiring 3s to hit. We get 3 hits, good start. We need 6s with Tank Hunter. We get none. Reroll. We get 1, so that is a pen.
Okie doke. We have our 5 up in Vun. The Mortificator rule does kick in, and even though the Mortificator is up front in the unit, he can't be targeted whilst the Dreadnoughts are alive. So let's go straight onto a Dreadnought. 5 up Automatic Shield. No. And then we have the Ancient Diversion rule. 5 up. No. So though that penetrating hit does go through.
Whoa, okay, let's see what happens. It's a 2, which is a shaken result, but more importantly, a hull point on the autocannon armed Dreadnought. All right, let's see if the multi-melds can do some damage here. 3s to hit. That is a double hit. This is really good. 5s to glance. 4, 5, 6. That's a pen. We'll take that. And so again, so 2 penetrates.
2 penetrating hits. We've got double Atomantic Shielding to start with. No. And then we have Ancient Devotion. Let's see if we can save any of these. No. Double fails. So both those penetrating hits go through.
All right, this is good stuff. Let's see what happens. Damage result. We'll do 1 at a time because obviously the hull points carry over. Oh, okay, so it goes to a 3, so that is another hull point. Now we are equidistant, so 1 to 3 we'll take it on the autocannon, 4, 5 or 6 we'll take it on the double fist. And that is on the double fist. All right, and now we'll see what happens for the damage on the other one. 4 goes to a 5, weapon destroyed. Again, 1 to 3 on the autocannon. Okay, it does have 3 weapons, so 3 and 4 will be the Havoc launcher. Okay, so it's the right-hand autocannon and the hull point. An unfortunate result there from the Thalax. It would have been nice to have taken out 1 or even 2 of those Contemptors. However, they are going into kill protocol and they are going to try and take those Dreadnoughts out in combat. We will suffer some nasty overwatch, so here we go.
All right, starting with the autocannon armed Contemptor, only 2 shots now, having lost one out of the dice tray. 1 hit, twin linked. No, only 1 hit, however, 2s to wound. Yep, so that is a wound.
6 up, feel no pain. Oh, take it.
Made. The Mortificator's single plasma pistol shot misses, and then we have the nasty part, 4d3 auto hits from the Flamers. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which happens to be the amount I'm holding in my hand. So 7 hits, wounding on 4s. That would have been a fail. So that is 3 wounds, AP4, so cuts through their armor.
6 up, come on. Okay, do lose a Thalax to Overwatch. Let's do a charge with the Thalax, and then make it in with a 7-inch charge. Great stuff. The Thalax have made it into combat. It seems a bit of a foolhardy thing to do, but we're here to find out what would happen. It's all down to the dice rolls. So now the Word Bearers will attack at initiative 4.
Starting with the Contemptor with the autocannons. He only has 2 attacks base, hitting on 3s, both hit, wounding on 2s with strength 7. That is 2 wounds.
4 up armor, both pass, lovely.
Lovely. We then have the Mortificator with his Corpusant Stave, 2 attacks due to the 2-handed weapon, and both miss, really unfortunate. We're then on to the melee Contemptors. They should be able to do this for us. We have 4 attacks from each, so 8 total hitting on 3s. Oh, that is not great. We drop 4. We drop 4. However, we're now wounding on 2s with Shred. Oh, we need the Shred here. Double 1. Still 1. So that is 3 wounds and 3 dead Thalax.
Luckily, there are 2 Thalax standing, and they are going to clamp their melter bombs at initiative 1. So we'll start off with the Thalax in base contact with the autocannon armed Dreadnought. We require 4s to hit. Come on. Oh, there it is. All right, so penetration. That is a 6. That is a pen. What do you got?
Okay, 6 up in Vun in combat. Fail. And then we have the Ancient Devotion. Come on. No, or 1. So that goes through. That does kill him. He's only on 1 whole point left. But what does the damage result do? That is an explodes result. So we'll figure out the results and come back to you.
The explosion clips both the Thalax, and now they will be wounded on 5s.
No wounds.
We'll wound the Centurion, or the Mortificator rather, on a 4, which we fail. Now we'll go on to the combat with the other Thalax, with the double melee weapon Contemptor. 4s to hit, come on. Oh, there she blows. Let's have it. Pen, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a pen.
Okay, let's see what we can do. 6 up Invuln. Oh, no. And then we have 5 up Ancient Devotion. Come on. No. So that Penetrate does go through as well. Also only on 1 whole point, so that Dreadnought is also dead.
See if we can explode it, which we don't. That's a good result. And we'll get rid of that Contemptor.
Last strike, trying to claw back some dignity, is the servo arm of the Mortificator, hitting on a 3. No, not on a 1. So that is the combat over.
All right, well, the Wordbearers have won the combat, but the Thalax are stubborn, which is such a great roll. We need an 8 or under. And thankfully, the saving grace, that combat will continue.
Turn 2 for the Wordbearers, and another turn where we're stuck in combat. We'll go straight into melee as there's nothing else to do. Start with the Mortificator at initiative 5 with his Corpusant Stave, 2 attacks, 1 hit, wounding on 4s. No wounds. However, we then have the heavy hitter. We need this guy to do some damage. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's good. 3 hits, killing on 2s with Shred. That'll do it. So that is 3 killing blows. Only 2 Thalax left. The Wordbearers wipe out the Thalax. End of this round, Wordbearers stand victorious, having claimed the field. Pretty dicey there. Could have gone either way a lot. The Thalax's failures at shooting probably aided us more than our own melee. We'll re-rack these and replay the scenario and see what happens. Round 2 of our firefight, and we're changing up a bit with Wordbearers now going first. We might get some shooting off this turn, which is might be exciting. To start with, the whole squad have just advanced right up in front of the Thalax to bring their heavy flamers and autocannons to bear. Straight into the shooting phase, starting up with all 4 heavy flamers in the fists of those Contemptors before any other casualties have taken out, so we have the chance to hit the maximum. After all the measuring, 4 templates did 15 hits, so we're going to roll to wound. Strength 5, toughness 5, so 4s to wound.
Wow, I think I did all right out of that.
That's not too bad. That is quite a few drops. Only 5 wounds from 15 hits. However, it's 84, so it does cut through their armour.
Okay, 6 ups, come on. Oh, okay. So we lose a Thalax, and a second one takes 2 wounds.
Next to fire, hoping to make up for that poor performance, is the dual autocannon armed Contemptor. 4 shots twin linked, hitting on 2s. That is 1 fail, twin linked. All hit, wounding on 2s. All wounded, strength 7, AP 4 cuts through their armour, so on to the Feel No Pains.
Oh, 6 ups, come on. Oh, no. So we do lose another Thalax. Because of where the placement is, one of those Thalax will suffer a wound, so not too bad.
Next fire was the Havoc Launcher from the same Contemptor. A 3-inch scatter meant that it was off target, unfortunately. So last to fire is the Mortificator with his Plasma Pistol, 2 to hit. That is a hit. 2s to wound. That is a wound. AP 2, so cuts through their armour.
6 up, Feel No Pain. Oh, finally.
Straight into the assault phase, we are charging slap bang into that unit. However, we first have to weather some potentially nasty Overwatch.
We'll start off with the lightning guns, so 6s to hit, not a sausage. And then we get the 2 multi-melters, 6s to hit. We get 1, brilliant. Now we'll go into armor penetration, 5 on 2 dice, which we get fantastic news.
So that's a penetrating hit. We have a 5 up Atomantic Shielding, fails. Then we go straight onto the Ancient Devotion. Can the Mortificator nullify this wound or pen? No, on a 2. So that penetrating hit goes through.
All right, let's have a look. Big roll here required, +2 to the result. Oh, it's a 1. Okay, so we do put a hull point on the lead Contemptor with double fist.
Crashing in, having taken a hull point, we deal 3 Hammer Wrath at initiative 10. That is 3 wounds on strength 7. AP nothing, however, so arm saves.
2 fail, 6 up, Feel No Pain. Oh god, 1 wound, so that will kill one of the Thalax.
Striking first, we have the Autocannon Contemptor. We'll just roll him for fun. 3 attacks on the charge, hitting on 3s. That is all hit. Wounding on 2s with strength 7. All wounded. So 3 wounds, however, armor saves.
All pass. Look at that.
Wow. At initiative 5, we do also have the Corpusant Stave of the Mortificator. 3 attacks. Only 1 hit, unfortunate. Wounding on 4s with strength 5. No wounds. Unfortunate. However, we then have 10 attacks from the 2 melee armed Contemptors, all swinging at once. These are hitting on 3s. Dropped 3. That's not too bad.
I think you'll wipe them.
And then we have wounding on 2s with strength 10.
Killing on 2s.
Killing on 2s, my apologies. So that is 2, 4, 6, 7 dead Thalax if there were 7 in the squad. There aren't. Obviously, the strength 10 nullifies their feel no pain, wipes the squad, and the unit consolidates a whole inch. Great result from the word bearers there. Slaughtered the Thalax, as we should have done, really. However, we're now staring down the barrel of another squad of Thalax, so the multi-melters could do a real number on us.
Mechanicum turn 1, and we get another crack at trying to at least take a couple of those Contemptors down. We need to really get the double close combat armed Contemptors out. So let's see what happens. We've got 4 lightning guns, which we'll start with. They have moved ever so slightly out of the building there, ready to charge, but we'll see what happens. 4s to hit, so we get 3 hits. This is nice. And we are 6s to glance. Sorry, 6s are a pen because they rend. We do get 1 thanks to Tank Hunter, so that is a pen.
Okay, 5 up Adamantic Shielding. Shrugs it off.
It's too good. All right, 2 multi-melters, 3s to hit, 1 hit. 6s to glance. 6s to pen on 2 dice, which we get.
Adamantic Shielding again. No. Ancient Devotion, 5 up. No. Double 4. So that penetrating hit goes through.
Damage roll, we need a 5. Oh, boom! All right, so that does destroy 1 of the Contemptors. After the Contemptor was destroyed, it exploded and clipped 2 Thalax.
So wounding on 5s. That is 1 wound, not too bad.
And 4 up armor, yes. And then we do clip the Mortificator, and that wounds on a 4. No, negative. The Thalax are going to give it a whirl in combat now. They are going to charge into combat. We do suffer Overwatch, so let's have a look.
Okay, starting with the closest Mortificator single plasma pistol shot. That is a hit, amazingly. Wounding on a 2. That is a wound. It goes straight through their armor.
6 up. Negative. Takes a wound.
Takes a wound. We then have 2d3 hits from the Heavy Flamers and the Contemptor's Fists. That is only 3 hits. Not too bad. Rolling to wound. 4s to wound. Only 1 wound. It does go through the armor again.
6 up. 2 wounds.
And then finally we have 4 shots from the Autocannon Contemptor. Hitting on 6s. 1 hit. That's not bad. Twin linked. 1 hit. Oof. Okay. Wounding on 2s again. Strength 7. 1 final hit. Again, goes through the armor.
6 up. Oh my word, it's terrible. So 1 Thalax falls to Overwatch. Not good. The Thalax have made their charge into contact with the Mortificator and the 2 Contemptors, but it is the Word Bearers that will strike first.
Okay, starting with the Mortificator. Initiative 5, 2 attacks with the Corpusant Stave, 1 hit, 4s to wound, no wounds. Then 2 attacks from the Autocannon armed Contemptor, hitting on 3s. 2 hits, 2s to wound rather. 2 wounds, AP nothing however.
Oh, come on, 4 up armor. Yeah, we're good.
All good. So then, perhaps to save us, we've got 4 attacks from the melee armed Contemptor, hitting on 3s. Only dropped 1, that's not too bad. 2s to kill with Shred. 1 fails to wound, however goes into a wound, so that is 3 dead Thalax before they even get a chance to strike.
We've suffered some heavy casualties there from the Contemptors. Let's see if we can put those melter bombs to good use. 4s to hit. Okay, we get 1, we'll take that. 5 to glance, 6 to pen with Tank Hunter. That is a pen. Okay,
let's see if the Adamantic Shielding can hold up. 6 up in combat. No, that would have been alright against shooting. Then we have Ancient Devotion. 5 up to ignore the penetrating hit. No, that goes through, so this could be key.
Can we do it? We need +2 to this dice roll. And we get a 5, which is a weapon destroyed, and that will take 1 of the arms and the Heavy Flamer off that Contemptor and reduce it to 1 whole point.
Striking last, Initiative 1, we have a single Serb-Arm attack from the Mortificator, hitting on a 3. That hits, wounding on a 2, fails to wound. So that's the end of the combat.
The Thalax have lost, but they are stubborn. They require an 8 or less, which they pass. That is great news. We'll now go straight on to another round of combat. I think it's all over for the Thalax, but we'll see what they've got.
Let's see if they can hang on. So we'll start straight with the Mortificator. Initiative 5 with the Corpusant Stave. 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, both hit. Wounding on 4s, 1 wound. AP 4, so it cuts through their armor.
6 up, fail, takes a wound.
Takes a single wound. The the Contemptor with the double autocannon. 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, 1 fail. Wounding on 2s, however. 1 wound, AP nothing, so 4 up armor.
6 up, feel no pain, fail. Another wound is taken on the other Thalax.
Now down to the last Contemptor. We are down to 3 attacks, having lost a claw last combat round. 3s, hitting on 3s, 3 attacks. Dropped 1. Oof. So this might be enough to do the squad. 2s to kill. That is 2 dead Thalax. End of the second firefight, and the Wordbearers are victorious again. Turns out they don't care if they go first or second. They can shrug off whatever the Thalax threw at them. Great results.
Well, that was a double win for the Wordbearers. Boris, I think it just proves that you can tailor a situation and a list, but on the day, it's down to the rolls, right?
I think so. I don't think I played any better. In fact, there wasn't any strategy in it. It was literally just smashing together. It's not like we played poorly or well. I think just there were some really good dice rolls on the Wordbearer side, kind of shrugging off some penetrating hits, and some poor dice rolls on the Thalax's side, kind of missing with your multi-melters when it was key, basically.
Yeah, and you have to look at this in isolation because, you know, if you were playing a much larger game, you could argue that the Thalax would move around a little bit more. They wouldn't allow themselves to be cornered so much by what is essentially a big, slow-moving unit, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Death Star, but it can only move and run sort of the same pace as infantry.
Yeah.
So
you have to bear that in mind, and you could argue that maybe the Thalax could have got some side shots, whatever. But if there is a situation where they have been cornered, they ripped apart 2 units. It just crazy.
Yeah, I mean those strength 10. It was discussing beforehand, but they both lists almost sort of tailored for each other. So the strength 10 melee attacks are just perfect for Thalax because the usual thing is they're so tough and they have to feel no pain. You have to choose through so many wounds, as we've seen in loads of battle reports. But those Dreadnought close combat weapons just deleted whole Thalax squads in one go, especially on the charge. But the Thalax, on the other hand, had Destructor with the Tank Hunter.
Yeah.
They had Armorbane. They had Melter weaponry. They had every single one of their guns could have destroyed a Contemptor, and I'd say their shooting was actually mostly underwhelming.
It was a little bit, yeah. And you would have thought, 3s to hit, 5s to glance, with like you said, 2 on 2 dice, then reroll because of Destructor upgrade. It's just, you would have thought they'd done a much better job, but it just, when it comes to the crunch, they didn't quite manage it.
Best laid plans. That was that sort of thing.
God damn it. No plan survives contact with the enemy.
Absolutely.
Now, what we did do at the very end, just off camera before we came back on to see you guys, when I worked out another list that essentially we replaced one of the units of Thalax with 2 Venators, which are the 4-shot Strength 9 AP2 Ordnance, and that did kill 2 Contemptors in its opening salvo.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate this was all down to just some Thalax and some Contemptors, but there will be a situation where they will meet on the battlefield, and that may or may not happen. But obviously, when you start to introduce other units, there's always that what if, what if we had that, or what if we had that. But I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's a game of counters. I think we said in the intro that these are both really expensive Death Stars. 750 or 705, 710,
yeah,
so up to 750 points. If that unit of they're super survivable, as we saw, they're actually really good. I think a lot more people should use them. But if one round of shooting wipes out the majority of that squad, you've lost 500 to 700 points worth of your list without it doing anything, which is devastating. So you're sort of all putting a lot of eggs in one basket, to use another analogy. So it's sort of high risk, as it were.
Sure.
I know this is maybe obvious, but it's a really good to sort of see that just down to some dice rolls. One sort of round, the Wordbearers just did amazingly, absolutely wiped the Thalax off the board. If a couple of dice rolls had gone wrong, they might have been wiped off the board in return, without doing much damage in return, and sort of claiming their points back, as it were. You want to use that to sort of calculate their effectiveness.
We've all seen games where, one stray las cannon shot has shot right across the battlefield and flipped, a Spartan over in one turn, or we've seen that one melter bomb take down that Leviathan. We all know it's a dice game, and we try to stack I tried to stack the Mechanicum quite heavily in their favour to try and deal with these Contemptors. But sometimes if your dice just aren't coming up, you can try everything you can possibly do, and it just doesn't quite work out. But I do think it was a fantastic demonstration of this really cool, neat little unit that is perhaps a little bit vulnerable if you're unlucky with your saves, but can be extremely powerful. And you could argue that maybe if we'd paired both of the Contemptors had maybe had a Caries, they've got a bit of shooting, a bit of combat, it might not have annihilated the Thalax so quickly. But double fist, you mentioned earlier as well, if you can put 3 or 4 Contemptors in that unit, that will kill Primarchs and Terminators.
Yeah, I think so. I think I just did kind of back of the envelope calculation, but I think you get about 5 because the amount the Mortificator can take is up to 5 of a Dreadnought. So you can take 5 Contemptors with double fists, and it comes out about 1,000 points, which is often what a Primarch and their bodyguard comes to. And I think they would probably, might be an interesting matchup again, but they would probably wipe most other Death Stars on the board. Just that Strength 10 shred. Yeah. Strength 10 shred is pretty scary. So I think they're a pretty amazing unit. They're quite fragile because that lucky single penetrating hit could just take a whole Contemptor off. But I think they're pretty amazing. Yeah,
one of the things we discussed, kind of planning this show, we thought that maybe we could do the same list with the Word Bears, but use some Immortals at the same time. But I don't think it would have fared much better. They've got some melter guns, which would have been fine. But essentially, once they got into combat, there's no melter bombs available to the squad, and it would have been the Contemptors bashing the shields of the Immortals. So we were going to film that, but then we looked at it and thought, well, it's probably not that exciting, and the Thalax were the better option to go, really. But yeah, I found that super cool, super interesting.
I thought that was a good sort of thought experiment. Almost like they've been locked in an arena, if you want to think that's why the Thalax couldn't jump away.
Absolutely. All right, well, I really hope you've enjoyed this as much as we've had fun filming it. Boris, any final thoughts?
I think I haven't seen many, like you said. I think people should take Mortificators. I think they're pretty great. We didn't use it this turn, but actually I sort of said off camera as well, he's got Battlesmith, so he could be repairing those Dreadnoughts. You take those glancing hits or sort of lesser penetrating hits, you can be bringing them back up to full hull points. So they're scary. And you can take them with only 2 Contemptors, and they don't come to that many points. And it just gives you some nasty options. Really love them. They're a great addition. Yeah,
you could stick them in the backfield with conversion beamers on there and then just keep repairing those hull points and keeping them running and just firing down range, all like we've seen. Get them up close and personal, and they will rip into anything they can get their hands on. Final word from me, as I said, I find that really exciting. We're going to get a few more of these firefights out, and hopefully in December we can resume filming with you guys from the community. So we're looking forward to that. Boris, thank you so much for a lovely evening.
No, thank you.
I had a great time. You kicked my ass, but I enjoyed it, so that was good fun.
It's always good to play with giant robots.
Absolutely. And also thanks very much to Dan Porter for the loan of his Word Bearers and his Imperial Fists. I think I've had them since March now.
Great.
Clearly not getting any games in, is he? I think he's painting Mechanicum at the moment, though. So go check him out at Party and Shot. I'm at 30k channel, and Boris is
at pack_paints.
Fantastic. All right, we will hope to see you in the next episode of Firefight.